Crystal Griffin, the Director of Product Marketing here at Vizergy, and I have with us on the phone Ashley Locke from Google. She's one of our product specialists, and we are going to go over mobile today. We will talk about how mobile has changed, how people interact with technology, and then we're going to talk about how you embrace those changes and market to people using mobile, starting with your mobile experience that they're having, how you can reach them while they're on their mobile, and of course how to measure whether or not your strategy is effective. So Ashley, you want to go for it?
Absolutely. Thanks, Crystal, for the introduction. Again, everyone, my name is Ashley. I work on the agency team here at Google, so I'm excited to be here today to speak with you about mobile marketing and what it means for you as advertisers. So I think the first and foremost, the most important thing to recognize is that the mobile moment happened. Mobile searches officially surpassed desktop searches in the US, as well as 10 other key global markets. So if you look at this chart here, you'll see that the mobile activity is projected to continue on this path of exponential growth. So mobile has completely changed the way that people consume media. We've seen a 50% growth in mobile bookings year over year. So mobile is mission critical for us as hospitality marketers. The mobile moment happened on search in general, and it's happening for mobile conversions as well. And we as marketers need to make sure that we are keeping up with our consumers' shift in behavior. So if we look at this chart here, we'll see that mobile has shifted our media consumption habits from concentrated touch points during peak hours to constant connectivity. That blue line depicted in the chart above is mobile usage. So we see that our mobile devices are ever present throughout the consumer's day, whereas traditional media such as TV still has a peak viewership time, a peak time when users and consumers are engaged. This makes sense, right? When we think about our own habits, we know that we all carry our mobile devices with us everywhere and are increasingly reliant on them for information in times of need or for simply entertainment purposes. And interestingly enough, we've also found that consumers are twice as likely to feel a personal connection to brands on mobile devices. This is simply due to the proximity principle. Our mobile devices are consistently within 1 foot of our person, therefore an extension of us. So if we look at the different forms of devices here, we see how close and personal a mobile device is, and that really has an impact on how consumers interact with and view brands. So this change in behavior that we're seeing with consumers on mobile devices has really fractured the consumer journey into hundreds of tiny decision-making moments. So let's consider these 3 figures. We've seen a 20% increase in mobile share of online sessions across the web in the past year. At the same time, we've seen an 18% decrease in time spent per visit across the web in the past year. So in other words, as mobile accounts for more sessions, they're getting shorter overall. But there's a lot happening within these sessions. So in the past year alone, we know that overall mobile conversion rates have increased 30% across all verticals. So here's what these numbers really mean. We're no longer researching purchases in long dedicated sessions on a laptop or desktop. Instead, we as consumers are reaching for our devices in the moment because we access information faster than ever, and as a result, we make more informed decisions faster as well. So we'll get to this a little bit later in the presentation, but we like to call these small moments micro moments. And it's important to recognize that we're tuning in more than ever. So in the past 3 years alone, media consumption has increased more than 500%. So not only are consumers engaging with their mobile devices to purchase and to book more often, they're just consuming media in general a lot more than they used to be with traditional means of media. So as marketers, increased screen time doesn't necessarily mean increased exposure. So because consumers are constantly in control of when and where they consume media, they can decide when and when not to tune you out. So we check our phones on average 150 times per day. So we do a variety of things as depicted here in this slide. We email, we text, we check social media, we may pick up our phone to actually give someone a call, but there are other moments when we're trying to learn, to be inspired, perhaps even to buy or to book. So these are the moments when our consumers are leaning in and trying to accomplish something when they have intent. And these are the moments that we as marketers really want to capitalize on. So admittedly, these moments may seem small and almost mundane when we're looking at them, but in many ways that's just the point, because our biggest opportunities come in these very small moments of receptivity for our consumers. So we want to make sure that we as a brand are accomplishing something in these small moments, because these are when consumers are tuned in, and we want to be relevant and present a solution to our consumers' needs in these moments. And then Crystal will take us through the 3-pillar framework for a mobile marketing strategy.
Thanks, Ashley. So we can all, I think, agree after Ashley's presenting some of that data to us that we have to embrace mobile. We have to develop a mobile strategy. So as a marketer or as a hotelier, how can you develop a mobile strategy? We break it down into 3 parts. The first is experience, making sure that you have the right mobile experience for customers who are going to interact with your brand. The second pillar being reach, so how are you actually going to market on mobile? And then the third pillar is measure, making sure that you're capturing the full value of mobile as you look at your strategy. So we're going to start out talking about the experience of your mobile site. You may have heard the term design for mobile first. That is definitely something that we try to embrace at Vizergy. It's really about the user experience. It's about humans and not about technology. We're looking to focus on improving how easy it is for someone to navigate and interact with your hotel on the mobile site. Is it easy for them to find and click a call to action? Is it easy for them to search and find what they need? Do your images load properly, and do they still present in a quality manner? Do you have the right text size for mobile? It's not just taking and changing your entire site so that it'll fit on a mobile screen, but really making sure that the mobile experience is pleasant for the end user. Making sure that the increased load times are not going to cause problems for you. Making sure that you don't have bulky code or embedded media or incompatible plugins such as Flash. All of these things that are going to cause problems with your site actually rendering when they go to look at you on a mobile phone. And then, of course, just testing. Testing is essential to what we do. We don't just look at, okay, does this present well on the mobile phone I have in my hand? It's about different types of devices. We have wearables now that we have to take into consideration. It's about using different web browsers and different versions of web browsers to ensure that you're rendering across every device and every browser. And it's also about testing different internet connections. So just because the site loads properly in one location doesn't mean it's going to load properly in another location, and taking in mind that not everyone's going to have 4G access, so we have to test on 3G access. Just going through all of those steps and scenarios to make sure that our designs work for mobile. And then Ashley, were you going to speak to the reasons that mobile traffic typically doesn't convert?
Absolutely. So it's important to call out these 4 main reasons that mobile traffic doesn't convert. So again, a lot of the things that Crystal was speaking to are very important to make sure we have our bases covered on, but these are the top 4. So first being navigational complexity. So is the site easy to navigate for your customers? And we'll take a look on the coming few slides as to what that means. Second being complicated booking form. Is it easy for customers to book with you? How long does that process take? Be thinking about things like that as you're building your mobile sites and your mobile experiences. Barriers to conversion, so things like form fill-outs before someone can check availability of room rates. And then lastly, being site speed. As consumers' attention is more and more fragmented, site speed becomes more and more important. So we'll see a few significant and very important stats in the next page in terms of site speed and what expectations are from a consumer standpoint. So we need to also think about what we should be measuring and how we would optimize to improve on different campaign performance factors, and just, from a digital performance standpoint, these are things that we should be looking at. So first off is click-through rate. On average, for the U.S. travel and tourism industry on mobile devices, the click-through rate is about 10%. So really set your benchmarks there and make sure that your mobile experience is continuously optimized to reach that 10%. Bounce rate. As I was alluding to on the last slide, again, people's attentions are very fragmented. Half of people will leave a site if it doesn't load within 2 seconds. So test your sites, consider that, really make sure that you're on top of this one because you'd hate to lose out on those bookings due to something like site speed. And then thirdly, mobile traffic. So 55% of overall industry searches are done on mobile devices. So this signals to us that mobile is as important, if not more important, than desktop in terms of making sure that our user experience is polished and that our booking process is just as easy, if not easier, on a mobile device. So let's take a look at the top 5 solutions for mobile sites. First and foremost, make sure that your site search is visible and ensure that your results are relevant. So this means that when you're building a mobile site, you have that search functionality directly on the landing page. Mobile consumers are coming to your site with intent. They know what they want. Most oftentimes they're going to search exactly for that in the moment. And obviously make sure that the results that they're presented with are going to help them find those answers or help them complete those bookings. Also, it's important to implement filters to improve mobile search usability. And design efficient forms with streamlined entry or use click-to-call for complex tasks. So if your mobile site experience is not quite yet optimized, have that click-to-call option fairly early on in the user's experience with your mobile site so that they can give you a call directly and complete the task that way. Again, site speed. Make sure those page load times are fast for the best user experience. And then lastly, mobile design. We want to make sure that we're using large buttons for ease of user engagement. Engagement rates will increase significantly if the site is easy to navigate with the use of design for mobile. So large buttons, the actions that one will take on a mobile device called out on the landing pages, as well as high-resolution images. So we want to make sure that our consumers are not pinching and pulling the screen to see what's happening. We want to make sure that it's loading. We're presenting our properties in a very nice format when a user is engaging with our sites on those mobile devices. So we'll head into the next pillar here. Yes.
Yep. So the next pillar is how do we market? Now that we have this beautiful mobile site, how am I going to start reaching people on mobile? And this goes back to what Ashley referenced as micro moments, those small moments that are moments people reflexively turn to a digital device to act on a need in that moment. They may be looking to learn something, they may be searching for directions, they may be discovering something new, and oftentimes they're buying something. These are very intent-rich moments when they're making decisions or they're developing preferences, and this is where we as marketers can get our brand, your brand, in front of a consumer. So we're going to go through these 4 different areas of micro moments to try to simplify what we've called in the past the path to booking. If someone's searching, they're reading, they're searching again, visiting. It can seem like a long, windy process, so it can be difficult when we look at this picture to go, okay, where can I place my brand? Or, okay, as long as I'm in search, I have my brand covered. But what we try to do is look at micro moments in 4 areas. The first area, and we're going to dive into each of these and show some specific examples, but the first area is the C phase. And this is when someone has not yet even decided to stay or go on a vacation. And this is where we're going to use strategies to just kind of make them aware of us, to become something that's a preference that they're having shaped. The next phase is the think phase, when maybe they're starting to do their research and we want them to make sure that they're considering your hotel. So we're going to find ways to get in front of them during their research process. And then the do phase, the phase that we are most familiar with, especially in the hospitality market, that they're ready to book. They're going to make a decision, likely within 72 hours. So we want to have a strong presence here. And lastly, the care phase. So this is when someone has previously stayed with you, or maybe they are staying with you currently, and you want to develop a stronger relationship with them and encourage future bookings. So the first phase, C, again, largest addressable qualified audience. Here's an example of what that looks like. So we have Bianca. She's a travel enthusiast. She loves to read travel articles. She's friends and Instagram followers of all of these different publications or resorts, and we want to make sure that your property is visible to her before she's even thinking about her next trip. She's already going to be out there in these locations, so now how do you get to those locations? And it's really about using display marketing to reach the right places, such as travel sites, and then of course to share a range of helpful content with her on social media or with travel influencers that are going to end up landing in front of Bianca, or that she's going to share out with other people that she also shared a love of travel with. And we sometimes call these entertain me moments. This is when you're just on her phone browsing, looking for something to do, and not yet really selecting a future vacation. So this is an example of one of our hotels, Hotel Zephyr. You can see the desktop example on the left where we have the banner ad, and it's aligned with the New York Times. People may or may not still be visiting some of these sites on a desktop, but we know they're visiting them on mobile. So this is a great place to target someone on mobile devices. You can see the example on the right where we have a nice display ad showing up in an article targeting people who are interested in the travel and leisure section. This is an example of social, and where we help our clients get out there in front of different markets. So this one is for Rancho. Rancho is a lovely dude ranch out in Arizona, but they also have a terrific golf course, a nice spa, and some great dining experiences. So they really want to start having people see them as more than just a dude ranch. So the C phase is very important to them to build more brand awareness around their other offerings. And the examples here are, if you see this, these are all different pins on Pinterest that reference Rancho, and this is my favorite here, a great example of how that hotel has been able to leverage social to get into this phase. A blogger came out, stayed on property, and loved the granola, ended up getting the recipe, blogged about it. Now it's been pinned across Pinterest, and it's actually pinned by Kindred Resorts here. So now if I am just out there on Pinterest, interested in healthy eating, looking for a new granola recipe, I come across this, I end up repinning it, and now I know about Rancho, and it's something that I might consider for a future vacation. This example is Instagram. So we've got Link Magazine here that has thousands of followers who are into golf. And Link Magazine came out, did some pictures, and wrote up an article, but shared these pictures on Instagram. So now those thousands of followers who are into golf have become aware of Rancho and the fact that they have a great golf course. So a nice set of examples from that property. The next phase, the think phase, so this is, again, the largest addressable qualified audience that has shown intent, so they're diving into their research phase. And in this example, this is a young family that would like to get away. Their son's finally at the age that they want to travel, but they want to figure out what's the perfect family vacation for them. And our job as marketers is to stay present in their thought process as they start going down this path. We want to find influencers such as CVBs and market alongside them, and we want to make your brand present on broader keyword terms to encourage exploration. We're also going to make sure that we're starting to set ourselves up for success in the do phase as we start so we can remarket to these folks. So this is an example of a search on broad keyword terms. So we're trying to capture terms that normally they're not as likely to convert on the first go-round, but we're starting to get ourselves into their research phase, and we're capturing the people who visit your site through this ad or through the search that brings up your hotel naturally, and putting them on a remarketing list so we can remarket to them when they do get closer to their buying experience, and we'll get into that more later. This is an example of a CVB or an influencer. This is Grafton on Sunset showing up on WeHo, the Visit WeHo site. And these guys have had a phenomenal relationship back and forth and really been able to put Grafton out there in front of a broader audience than they typically would have. They've got the listing there on the CVB site. And for us, actually, fun fact, we have noticed for the majority of our hotels that the second largest referral URL for people coming to their website is usually from their local CVB. The first obviously being Google and Google searches, but second to that, it's typically someone finding the property and clicking on a link within the CVB. So you definitely want to make sure that you're up to date and listed there. And you can also leverage them in your social media. WeHo has come out and done articles about Grafton and posted them on their Facebook page. When Grafton has events, they will we'll have our social analysts share that onto WeHo's page as well. So we get a broader audience and people who may not know Grafton, but they do know this influencer, and this influencer is able to put the hotel in line of sight of people who are doing their research.
Great.
Let's talk about the call extensions.
Yes, so thanks, Crystal. Again, everyone, this is Ashley, and we want to make sure that when we're thinking mobile, we're thinking about how consumers are engaging with their mobile devices, and obviously we want to make sure that making phone calls is easy. So we have two solutions here at Google that are available to you all through Vizergy, and these are the call extension ad feature as well as the call only ad. So if you take a look on the left-hand part of the screen, you'll see that standard ad there with a call button appended. This is the call extension, and this allows users to click on your ad as normal and visit your site, but it also allows them to click on that call button and give you a call should they prefer to complete the booking that way or to get more information about the property that way. These are available across devices, so they'll target all devices, but on mobile, it's important to recognize that it's a call button. So it's going to prompt the phone call, should that be what the customer prefers. And then on the right-hand side, we see call-only ads. And this is a new campaign type. This is a good solution for properties that might not yet have a mobile-optimized user experience. This type of ad format, again, prompts a phone call, but only a phone call. So if a user clicks anywhere on that ad unit, they will dial your business number. Again, the headline there calls out the phone number so that the user is aware that they will be making a phone call should they click on that ad. And this is a mobile-specific ad unit. So again, if your property does have a mobile-optimized site, we recommend that call extension because it'll give your users more options from the ad unit. But call-only ads are also a very good solution should the site not yet be optimized or if you're purely looking for phone calls from mobile users. We also have some other ad extensions that are very relevant and important on mobile devices. So again, when we speak about ad extensions, this just means a way to enhance your standard text ad. So first and foremost, on the left-hand side, here we're looking at site links. So these are those blue links that show underneath a standard text ad that'll bring users to different pages within your mobile site. So you could take someone directly to a booking page or directly to an amenities page. We recommend, obviously, utilizing site links to point to highly important pages within the site and pages that typically have a lot of engagement and lead to bookings. And then on the right-hand side is your opportunity to showcase special promotions or features of your property, and that's what the extension called call-out extensions. So this is a part of the ad unit itself. If a user were to click on that, they would still go to that main landing page that you have determined, but it allows for your ad to have an extra line of text that allows you to showcase what is important or special about your property. And it's important to make sure that all relevant extensions are on your ads because they have a factor in ad rank. And as we know, on mobile devices, being in those top spots is very, very important in terms of mobile click-through rates and obviously conversion rates as well. So with that, we'll get into the... Oh, yeah.
I think it's important to point out here, too, that these can be adapted to specific keywords. So if we're thinking about our example that we started off in this section with of the young family looking for a family vacation, we can actually make sure that those site links can take them directly to pages that are going to be family friendly or that are going to emphasize parts of your property that they would want to know and end up wanting to book with you because of, like maybe have a special splash park, or there's you know, in-room Nickelodeon, site extensions that would draw in family. And then the same thing on the special offers and the call-out extensions, having a special offer there, you know, kids under 12, stay free, whatever it is. You can target specifically for what people are searching on so those ads become even more relevant and tend to convert higher. All right, so everybody's favorite phase, the do phase. This is where we're finally going to start seeing those conversions and probably what part of marketing we're all most familiar with. And how does that apply to mobile? Well, I think it's really about making sure that you're taking that sense of urgency and getting them to convert on mobile or understanding how the cross-device conversion is going to work for you. So this example is Beth. Beth wants to find and book a hotel room near her daughter. Her daughter's out of college. She's starting to feel homesick, so Beth really wants to go see her this weekend. So as a marketer, we want to make sure that we're making this as seamless for her to find and book your hotel no matter what device she's on. Again, it's about that easy, responsive website experience with easy navigation to help her find and book your hotel, to navigate to pages on something that she might want to check, and of course to bid aggressively on mobile terms that are going to leverage the sense of urgency that she has on her device. So this example, again, it comes down to remarketing and the site extensions, as Ashley was mentioning before. We want to make sure these site extensions, check rates, and book now is a great one. She can easily go directly to that page. She doesn't need to research anything else about your property. She just wants to act quickly. And also, we can take this ad and have it, if she's been on our site before, so let's say that she searches on her mobile device, finds your hotel, visits that website, and then leaves the mobile site, goes back to her desk later, searches for you again by name, we're able to remarket to her because we've captured her on that list as long as she's signed in with her Google account. I can still track her when she goes cross-device, and I can serve up a different ad to her that maybe will leverage a sense of urgency or capture that direct booking. And when we're able to use remarketing with our ads, we are actually seeing a higher click-through rate, so about a 25% click-through rate on remarketing ads. We also get to bid lower on those ads because they're seen as more relevant in the Google algorithms. That person's already visited me, so my ad is more relevant to them, so I can bid and lower but still place very highly, usually about a 17% lower cost per click for us. And then, of course, conversion rate. So the RLSA, the remarketing list for search ads, will convert typically 55% higher than a standard pay search ad. So just a great way to take all of the work that you're doing up front and capture some additional results in the do phase. And that brings us to the care phase. So the care phase is, again, people who have stayed with you or staying with you currently and making sure that you continue the relationship and conversation with them. So in this example, we have Leo. Leo stayed at your hotel last year for the Food and Wine Festival and signed up for your email list. And now the Food and Wine Festival is coming around again, so you want to make sure that you are making sure Leo remembers the great time that he had with you. So for this phase as a marketer, it's about providing ongoing post-date outreach to gain additional loyalty and just develop brand advocates who are looking for a reason to visit. You want to be present on his chosen platform. It could be email, it could be social, it could be various review sites. It's important to realize that you can't concentrate on one. You have to concentrate on all in order to continue those conversations with all of your guests. And you also want to engage with users through mobile-friendly website, again, just emphasizing the mobile experience. So this example is for the Elms. The Elms is one of the properties we service here, and they are a beautiful full-service resort that is not in a destination. So they are relying on 3 feeder markets that are in their drive market to really keep their occupancy up and engage in all of their services. So for them, care is extremely important. They have a lot of repeat business. And this example is one of our emails, a great way that they reach out, usually about once a month, sometimes more, depending on what they have going on in the property, and make sure that everybody on that email list knows what's going on the property. Mother's Day brunch coming up, to bring your mom out to brunch, book her a spa appointment, and go ahead and stay for the weekend as well. And over here, this is an example of a social post. So again, the events that go on, making sure that those get posted on various social sites and give people the chance to know what's going on and make plans for the weekend. Review sites. Now, you may question, what does this have to do with mobile? But it's really about making sure that when they're looking for you on search or finding you very quickly, that the reviews are positive and they're not just skimming past you. So it's very critical as they go through that quick experience on mobile and those micro moments to make sure that everything they see about your property is positive. And it's also about leveraging how they use technology to do reviews. So the example on the left is actually an example of an email from Review Express, which is a tool from TripAdvisor. Great tool where you can just, and this is a free tool within TripAdvisor. If you haven't used it for your property, go check it out. It's wonderful. You can load the list of people that have stayed with you, and it has an email that comes from TripAdvisor to send them an email to ask for a review. Now, I know it's always seen as taboo to ask for reviews, but this is a TripAdvisor tool that actually lets you do that and won't get you into any hot water. And it actually comes across as an email where they can just click directly within the email to give you the rating. So it makes it very easy for the customer. And a lot of times people are actually going in and completing these on their mobile devices while they're skimming through email. And we've actually seen for a lot of the clients a 33% response rate on these, which is phenomenal when you think about how many responses you typically get for surveys or reviews. And it's really critical to keep your reviews coming in to keep your ranking moving or at least staying level on TripAdvisor, because those rankings come from the amount of reviews you have, so the number you have, the recency of those reviews, and of course the relevancy and the rating that they give you. So staying on top, getting additional reviews, and then of course responding to reviews. So these are some stats that TripAdvisor put out earlier this year, just showing the correlation between how much time management takes to respond to reviews and what their average rating is on their TripAdvisor listing, then you'll see that as the management spends more time responding, it leads to a higher rating. Now, there are two schools of thought on this. One is, of course, that people see the management engaged and involved with responding to reviews, so they're more apt to take the time and put a review in, and usually a positive review because they've had a good experience with the property. On the other school of thought is the management that is in touch and engaged with the feedback that they're getting from the guests are more likely to make positive changes in the hotel and understand what's going right or what's going wrong with their operation and create a better experience for their guests. Okay, so that was a lot that we just covered across See, Think, Do, Care, and I just wanted to take time to make it a little bit of a summary for you guys. So how do you market across these phases? Display is really a great way for you to get out there and get in front of people when they're ready to book, or when they're still not even aware that they're going to travel, or when they're just starting their research. And it's also great for care so that you can continue to remarket to them with display, maybe even consider doing some upselling before they return to your property. Whatever the case is, display spans across See, Think, Do, and Care. Video, we didn't really get into video too much. That's really more of an influencer at this point for a lot of the hotels that we see. But as much time as we're spending on mobile looking for entertainment, video has become very critical to the marketing process, especially in this building awareness phase. Even if you don't have video content that you can use the video content that others have as an influencer and display your ads alongside of the videos. And then, of course, search is going to be critical when they're going through their research and booking phase, and a great way to stay present. Social, as we mentioned, is great for the building awareness phase and great for the care phase. And then email is great for the care phase to stay in touch with them afterwards. So now that you have a beautiful site and you've started marketing on mobile, how are you going to know whether or not your mobile strategy is actually working? And what we've seen is that a lot of people are only concentrating on mobile conversions, when really there are a lot of different ways that mobile leads to additional business for a website. So, excuse me. Of course, there's the actual conversion that would take place, so it's an actual booking taking place on mobile. But another is app downloads or in-app purchases. Typically for the hotels, we don't see many that have an app, although at the brand level, sometimes we do see loyalty apps that we can take a look at and see if that's leading to conversions. But typically this is not going to be something that we measure for our hotels. But what we do see are a lot of calls. So being able to track the calls that come from mobile and understand how those are impacting your bookings. In-store, not so much in-store, but walk-ins. So over the last few years, there's been a 34 times increase in the number of near me and local searches. So it's important for us to remember that people that are walking in the door to make a last-minute booking may actually be finding you on mobile, and mobile has impacted their booking decision. And then, of course, cross-device conversions. I think the stat I read the other day was 75% of people will move between devices, when it was 75% for leisure travels, and this was out on Think with Google, but 75% of leisure travelers will move between devices when they're making a booking decision, and 87% of business travelers. So a lot of movement from mobile and onto other devices, or vice versa. So when we are only measuring the mobile web conversions, we're missing out on a whole other chunk of things that will be impacting whether or not our mobile strategy is working. And there's actually a tool out there on Google, the full value of, the full value of mobile. You can search for it and find it out there, but it'll actually allow you to put in some parameters and some assumptions and help you understand what revenue is being attributed to mobile, or give you a better idea so you can make a business case for putting more into your mobile strategy. And
Great.
Ashley?
Yes. Great, thanks, Crystal. So here we have a nice case study from Intercontinental Hotels Group, and it's how they approached their mobile strategy. What they did is they really crafted an experience that met their customers throughout each stage of their digital travel journey, and how they capitalized on those micro moments, and how it was successful for them. So we know that IHG approached the mobile experience with their customers by staying connected throughout all of the touch points of their booking experience, as well as their experience on mobile devices while they were at their hotels. So they streamlined their booking process to less than 5 minutes on a mobile device. So they took the stress out of navigating a mobile site. They made it very seamless and easy to book. Upon arrival, they were able to pull existing reservations, hotel maps, and they featured one-click call access to the front desk concierge. So really thinking about how to make a user's and customer's experience more delightful from not just a mobile digital perspective, but also from a perspective of their stay with you in general. And they were able to highlight different amenities throughout that mobile experience as customers were staying with them. And then they also built in a loyalty feature to track the loyalty program points. So they generated over $100 million in revenue from monthly mobile app bookings. So huge opportunity here. Again, we see that stat that mobile booking has grown over 50% year over year. So again, we as hospitality marketers need to keep that in mind. And I'll just end with a quick quote here from Michael Menace, who is the SVP of digital and voice channels at IHG. He says, "Clearly mobile is changing how we communicate with consumers because they are never far from their device. At IHG, we're focused on delivering a great guest experience across the travel journey." So again, working with Vizergy, obviously you'll be able to really touch on everything that we covered today in the webinar. So thank you all for joining.